Hi guys and welcome to the F1 debate show. My name is Lyle, in case anyone has forgotten, because I haven't been on many episodes since we've actually come back. The reason is because I've been travelling. I've been working at a few Grand Prix actually, and obviously a few of you know that we've been posting on the channel. But I wanted to make this episode to talk about my experiences at those. So obviously there's going to be 3 Grand Prix I'm going to be talking about in this episode. The Belgian Grand Prix, which was at the end of August. The Italian Grand Prix, which was at the start of September. Those two I was working at, but I managed to actually go to the race. And then obviously I've been on an unbelievable journey, my 21st birthday present really, to the Marina Bay track in Singapore. The Singapore city, really unbelievable. So we'll be getting to that later on in the episode. That one's a bigger one. But I wanted to make this episode and just talk about my experiences because, I didn't make a vlog. I didn't really talk about them at that point, mainly because I was working for Belgium and Italy. Singapore, I was going to make a vlog. And I told my hand up guys and I say, I'm sorry I didn't make one, but it was just unbelievably hectic. And I'd had no time. I had like 20 minutes in the day. We got back at 1 a.m. and stuff like that. But yeah, unbelievable that. So I'm just going to talk about that, my experiences at the Grand Prix. 3 Grand Prix this year. 3 Grand Prix this year. It's just been absolutely surreal. I also did Silverstone as well, so that makes number 4. That's probably going to be it for this year. I don't think I'm that lucky, but yeah, just unbelievable. So let's jump into Belgium. So firstly, a bit of a notice that I have basically what I think is the best job in the world. Now, a bit of background on me. I'm 21. I'm at university. This is my 2nd year. So this was only a student job. Anyway, it was a job working at the campsites for the Formula 1 races. So obviously it's not great work in a field, but I work for Formula 1, in the campsites and, basically catering to people who are going to the races. Fantastic work. Really, really love it. I love everything about it because it's all Formula 1 related. The thing I always love when the customers arrive is just seeing those flagpoles, sticking out of caravans. You got the British flag, Lewis flag, or the Seb flag, and stuff. I love seeing that. It makes me feel, like Formula 1. And I've said that before. I think I said that for Silverstone when me and John went. I said, that's just something that when you see it, it makes you feel like it's just a special thing to see, really. So that was really, really good. Good work over the summer. I'm a student, as I say, I can't really stress that enough. So obviously when other people I know are working at bars or shoveling snow, because we get snow in England in August, when people are doing that, that's just my, it was just really, really fantastic to do. And I was over in Belgium, working over there. Obviously, I've never been to Belgium before, so it was a new country to go to, another country in Europe, and just what an unbelievable experience to do, to travel to Belgium in my summertime. And it was just really, really good. On the Sunday, I managed to actually go to the race at the 2018 Belgian Grand Prix. Really, really, really great. Now, my spot where I was standing was at Le Combe Chicane. So obviously you start off La Source is corner 1, then your big run up to Eau Rouge, over Radion, and down the Camel Straight, obviously, which, to be honest, if I had any choice of where I'd like to be, I'd have loved to have been there. The only reason I chose Le Combe is because I was working and I went just for the Formula 1 Grand Prix. I had to just go at the end and stand at Le Combe, but it was still a great spot as well. Fantastic view. I got there just as the drive parade had finished. Waiting for the formation lap and then the start of the race. Now, obviously, firstly, atmosphere was incredible. We were in the mountains, we were in the hillside, trees. You could see the weather coming in. There was a lot of fog over the circuit because we were so high up, but on the flip side, it was still 25 degrees. It was great. Fantastic track. A lot of fans there. A lot of fans from a lot of different countries. The main one, obviously, is the Netherlands. Dutch people travelling down from the Netherlands. Obviously, from our nearest Dutch city is Haarlem. That was about 20 miles away, so probably a bit more than that. Yeah, about 30-40 miles away, so obviously very, very close. And again, from Amsterdam, I think it was about 80 odd to 100 miles away, so very close. Obviously, a lot of Max Verstappen fans come down to watch that race. That is his home event. At the race, I got my Max cap, which I really wanted to do because a lot of people I saw were wearing that because it's a Max track. Really, it's his home race. So obviously that was great. And again, I wanted to be in Eau Rouge. I wanted to be at the Camel Straight. Why was that? Because the Dutch fans are there. All their Dutch smoke, You know, their support for Max. Mainly a bit of Red Bull, but mainly Max, obviously, because he's like the prodigal son, really. You know, first Dutch driver to win a race, first Dutch driver to be on the podium, youngest race winner, but all that. I think the only record he doesn't have at the moment is the youngest pole sitter, which obviously he didn't get for Russia, unfortunately. But yeah, I think he's going to run out eventually. I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but he's going to run out soon because he's 21 around this time. I know that because I'm about a month and a bit older than him, really. That's why I think I am Max. I'm the British Max. So great support for him. A lot of Dutch, what's the word, like those, smoke things, like the, just basically making it everywhere orange, and it was really great to see that. So I came there was a lot of fans, I say, from the Netherlands, Germany, France, obviously Belgium, of course. Quite a lot of British people as well. I mean, I'll get on to British people in a minute, about their fans and their support of Formula One. But it was really good to see that. Now the start of the race was good for Fernando Alonso. Now I'm joking. Obviously, the start of the race was absolutely hectic, as you all know. I wasn't in front of a telly, so I couldn't watch it. I just heard the fans go, "Oh no!" And the funny thing was as well, we there was a German guy in front of me, and I was watching it on his phone. Now, come on, guys, how stupid am I? Because for some reason, I thought that watching it on his phone to the track, there'd be like a second delay, right? So saw them come around the formation lab. It was fantastic to see that, clapping them on, giving Lewis some support. By the way, guys, I still really like Lewis as a driver. I'm British, of course I am. I've still got a British flag. I cheer for him, and when he wins, I think that I've kind of won as well. I'm a Red Bull fan. Max is my favourite driver who I support, but no, I'm still very much a Lewis fan because he's British. I will never ever think, oh, he's British, I'm not going to like him. That just doesn't happen, you know what I mean? So I'm still behind Lewis, clapping him along, obviously clapping Max along, a lot of everyone else was, clapping Danny Rick along as well. Obviously, really kind of bad preparation for that race as well. And yeah, Formation Lab came over, lining up at the bus stop chicane, and then came into the grid. On his phone, they were still on the Formation Lab. So it started, and I remember the Dutch fans were going, "Oh no!" And I was like, something must have happened. But on the Formation Lab, because I didn't even know, on his phone they were still on the Formation Lab. I saw them come round, and thankfully I could hear them. You can see the helicopter come round as well. But on that guy's phone, they were still on the Formation Lab. It was absolutely crazy. Anyway, yes, so I saw the start of the race. Safety car, not very good. Obviously still fantastic to see that, Formula One cars in Belgium as well after the summer break, and again working. I didn't expect to go as well, so that was a really good treat for me. Really fantastic to see, and yeah, we were just such a great place. Obviously, as you come at the Canal Straight, which by the way is quite steep, mind. You don't realise how steep it is when you see it on the telly. But yeah, coming up the Canal Straight, and then obviously down through Le Combe, obviously down the hill. It was just absolutely fantastic. I got some great shots of the drivers. I think the best one is Lewis. I got some good shots. Danny Rick was a good one as well. I'll tell you, the guy who I struggled to get was Sebastian Vettel, because when you're not in front of a telly, I know it's quite strange to say because you're at the track, but when you're not in front of a telly, it actually makes like to watch quite hard and quite keep up with, you know what I mean? So Seb would go around, and then I'd be like, "Oh no, miss Seb," and there'd be only about 5 seconds to Lewis, and then I think it was Max, and then Ocon and Perez, or the other way around. That was a great battle to see, mind. Just quickly on Force India, guys. Obviously, as you remember in that race, they became Racing Point Force India, and obviously because of that, their championship constructor points were scrapped. So obviously they were 0, plumb last, and to see that happen, to see those two drivers, I think Checo got 3rd place in quali, and then to see them do that in the race. So they started off on the 2nd row in the race was really, really great. And also, I didn't see it obviously with my own eyes, but just before the safety car flag was dropped, the Racing Point cars were challenging for the lead, if not got the lead, of Sebastian Vettel, and obviously challenging Lewis Hamilton as well. So obviously that was really good to see. Those two cars really, really great, especially when you knew the background of what had happened in that last night. They literally got demoted so fast on that night. It was insane, faster than Sunderland would ever get demoted, really. So yeah, Belgium was absolutely incredible, fantastic race. Really good to see the drivers. I finished the race, and I got to go on the track as well. We were right next to the gate, obviously a lead onto Le Combe. you know, all the way down Eau Rouge. And yeah, basically I've got some videos as well. I've got some pictures, quite a lot of pictures as well. Basically I've just, yeah, walking down that. Obviously some videos of the Dutch fans at Eau Rouge, the Dutch fans at the top of Radion, obviously in the Canal Straight. Really great support from them, as there was for a lot of people, really. I mean, I think everybody had a driver to support. There was even some K-Mag fans and things. The only one that didn't have much support for, guys, and obviously being Belgium, I was really kind of upset about this, was obviously Stoffel van Dorn. You know, he's not the best driver. He was plumb last in the race for quali. I think he finished plumb last, obviously, you know, taking out the retirements of Leclerc and Alonso. But, you know, he is a Belgian driver at the end of the day. And it just makes it a little bit sad when I think, because I'm like, you know, even if we have a British driver, like, for example, I mean, no offence to any of these drivers, but obviously like Paul Di Resta and Anthony Davidson, they were in Formula One alongside like people like Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button, even David Coulthard when he was there, you know. So it's like, even if we have a bad English driver, you know, we're still going to give him support. And obviously for them not to give him support, I was a bit like, oh, that's not great. And I was clapping along. I was, go on, Stoffel, son, you lad. And he was the only McLaren in the race as well, so obviously that was another reason to cheer. So yeah. Eau Rouge, fantastic. Got to walk down all the way. I had to actually get back to work, so I couldn't walk the whole track as well. I wasn't sure if you could. Another guy who actually managed to get down to La Source, obviously where they had the crash this year, and obviously Roman's crash back in 2012. So the experience was unbelievable. So it was au revoir for Belgium and buongiorno to Italia. Again, still on the job. We drove down to Italy, to Monza, obviously just outside of Monza. Really great to be there. You could definitely feel the temperature change as well. That probably was insane. That really knocked me out. You know, when you go on holiday, you know, for example, when you fly from like England to Spain or somewhere like that, you know, you feel the difference when you get off the plane. But because you were at one and then now you're at the other, you know, it's not like you're not seeing the temperature change. But this one, we were driving through it. We stopped in France. It's about maybe a few degrees. Germany, but the real one was when we got to Switzerland. You could tell it was like 5 degrees hotter. It was insane, maybe even more. But that was really, really good. Got to Italy, really good setup. And then again, I managed to go to the race. I actually paid for my ticket this time. We didn't have any staff tickets to go, but it was still a good deal. I managed to get a €75 ticket for the grandstand, basically at the end of the start of the Parabolica, sorry. So I don't know the name of the straight, but so you've got the Ascari chicane and the Parabolica, and it's basically that straight, that last straight, or the back straight. And I was at the bottom of the grandstand. 16A, I think it was, as the number. They like to number the grandstand. I remember me and Jordan were in 26C when we went. Unfortunately, I couldn't get anywhere near that. I'd have even gone GA just to be in front of that grandstand. Obviously, that was in front of the podium as well. I got there a bit early as well, walked around the full track, was really, really good, and it's also really accessible as well. I don't think I got any videos of that, unfortunately, but yeah, it was really, really good. Race started unbelievable. I got some videos of the Italian Air Force, a few shots of the safety car, and then, of course, on the formation lap. Now, the race started, and Belgium, didn't it? Had to be like Belgium, didn't it? And it had to be like Belgium, and there was an incident, and I didn't see it. And the thing is, they were racing. Oh, by the way, the incident, if you can't remember, was obviously Sebastian Vettel locking his brakes and driving into Lewis Hamilton. Or I shouldn't say that, sorry, because there still might be controversy on that. Or Seb and Lewis had it coming together. Long story short, Seb span out and obviously got a bit of damage. He still made it back into the race. He finished 5th place and then 4th place after Grosjean was disqualified. But yeah, well, Seb was a great drive. Not really here to talk about him, but as a Ferrari driver, guys, he got loads of support, especially because he was obviously trailing. So start of the race came about, and this was the first time I saw the cars, okay? I was standing at the 300 metre board, and you'd expect the cars to be doing 300k, maybe even more. And then this is what I saw. No. No. that was no. I don't want cars going that slow. They don't even go that slow on the reconnaissance lap. That wasn't great to see. Obviously, safety car was there for about 2 or 3 laps. This was the first time I saw the cars go full speed. And yeah, it just was unbelievable to see that, see the speed, see the endurance of the cars. Obviously, there was an overtake there you just saw. I think it was Romain Grosjean. Obviously, I remember he climbed so high in that race. Obviously, finished 4th, but then obviously got disqualified for a legal flaw, which obviously was a bit unfortunate for him. But yeah, great race for that. It was really, really good. Got some great photos of the cars. Obviously, which was hard because at Le Mans they were probably doing about 50 to 100k when they passed us. This, they were doing 300k, so my camera footage, well, actually I got a lot of shots where no drivers were actually in them, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was a really, really good race. Again, I wasn't in front of a telly, which wasn't great because, as I say, you can't get a great kind of view of the telly. You get a lot more kind of knowledge because, I mean, to all the people who don't believe in going to Formula 1 races, it is right. When the car isn't in front of you, you don't know where it is. But if you have a telly, you do. That wasn't fantastic. I was close to one, and obviously in front of thousands of Italian fans, and they kind of helped us along in terms of how much they were cheering. If they were cheering, it was for Ferrari. If they were booing, it was for Mercedes. And unfortunately, they got quite a few boos. End of the race came about. Obviously, I knew that the support of Ferrari was going to be great. Kimi Raikkonen was on pole position. He's 37 or 38. Really, really great. Heading to the end of his career. Obviously, leaving Ferrari at the end of the year. I knew that he was going to leave. I think a lot of people knew, but he goes and silences the haters or silences the doubters by going on pole position. Good race from him. I wasn't disappointed that he lost the lead. I mean, when you've got somebody like Lewis Hamilton who's in the prime of his life going for number 5, he's going to battle you at some point. So I think I wasn't disheartened about Kimi Raikkonen's drive. I'd still give him 11 out of 10 for that. And obviously, as you know, I'm not a massive Kimi Raikkonen fan. I don't really believe him as much. But obviously, I thought that race was really, really stellar from him. And I'd probably say he was one of, not driver of the day, but driver of the weekend, just because he silenced the doubters and he silenced me as well, to what I thought he could actually do. That was really good. One moment that I actually got on camera was obviously the Mercedes rolling in double formation. I mean, come on. That really annoyed the Italian fans. That really annoyed everyone. We didn't get as many boos, but I was like, they're going to get boos for this. And obviously when I saw it on the telly, when I got home, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. But in all fairness, Seb did kind of gloat about winning the British Grand Prix, obviously as a German, but Lewis won the German Grand Prix as a Brit, so you think he'd won the battle, but obviously no, he has to go one up. He obviously gets a one, finishes with Bottas. Obviously Bottas also on the podium and doing that in front of the Italian fans. But fair play to Mercedes, they are actually turning into a bit of a joker of the team probably taking that championship or taking that title off Red Bull. So Red Bull don't have any titles anymore. So Mercedes is going to finish with 2. Damn. Fantastic, really, really great. And to top it all off, I actually got to see a little bit of the podium. And I got a little bit of the podium, I got a bit on record. That's not special as much, apart from this bit, which we knew that was going to happen. We knew something special was going to happen because obviously, as I say, me and John, we went in 2017 and we saw exactly the same thing. That was really good. But just notice 2 things in this video, guys. The crowd, which, by the way, they're not even on the track. This is behind the fence, and these people are trying to watch. It's insane. And the boos for Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Well, it started for Bottas. Kimi Raikkonen actually came on the podium in between those 2 drivers, and you didn't know because, they were booing so much. You could hardly hear the British and the German national anthem over them. That's how many boos they actually got. But it's only good fun. I don't think any Ferrari driver is going to have a personal vendetta with any Mercedes fan. I think they're all good friends at the end of the day. A lot of times I actually saw couples and the man was a Ferrari fan and the woman was a Mercedes fan, and the man was a Seb fan and the woman was a Lewis fan. And I'm like, what do? Love beats that Mercedes-Ferrari rivals a little bit though. It's close. But love triumphs all, I guess. Anyway, yeah, but Italy was fantastic, and actually to top it all off as well, on the Monday I actually got to do I actually got to go around the track at Monza, which was really good. See the garages, I saw Max's and Daniel's and Lewis's, and yeah, just really a fantastic experience to go to Monza, to be another country. That was number two. That was country number two of summer, and yeah, just an unbelievable experience. So came off work, I was like, right, I'm excited now. I'm gonna have a few weeks rest before uni. Well, no. Thankfully, I was going to another race, and actually that was one of the reasons why I was so excited about doing Italy, the race, because obviously, as you know, guys, that's 3 on the bounce. That's Belgium, Italy, and obviously the next race, which was Singapore.
We are not far away. Cars in position. And that should bring out another safety car. We'll see that very shortly. Here, Sebastian Vettel has to get 40 starts. A big move, a decisive move as the safety car is called. He got it done just in time. Ferrari
race in the lights. 10 years. It's like their decade anniversary, and I was so excited to go to this race. I wanted to go to Singapore, but for a long time, probably since it came on the calendar 10 years ago. It looked unbelievable. Yeah, I was buzzing really, and that was my 21st birthday present, or part of it as well. Obviously, it was still a lot of money to get there, but we'd finally done it. We were in Singapore, which was great, and I wasn't working, so I could kind of enjoy it all. The only thing I kind of didn't enjoy was the two I actually do aviation at university, studying how an airport works, but I didn't enjoy the flying. That was the only thing. It was 14 hours and 2 connecting flights through Dubai. That wasn't great, especially the second one. But it was the A380 though, which I was very excited to fly on, because I've never flown on that before. That was really good. And it was dark, but yeah, fantastic. And also just shout out quickly to Emirates Airlines. They are the best, guys. And if you have the choice, fly Emirates. They are really, really great, in partnership with Qantas, and yeah, they are really great. But obviously, you don't hear about that. You want to hear about Formula One. They do sponsor Formula One though, so it's related. So yes, Singapore, we were coming for you. And we got there really, really fantastic. We're jet lagged, but yeah, really, really great. Obviously Thursday night, but heading into the Friday was just unbelievable. And the Friday was one of the best days there. The Sunday obviously is for Formula One, but the Friday was the best day. Obviously, we did sightseeing around Singapore. We also met some other British fans as well, obviously, that we knew from back in Newcastle, which obviously was where I'm from. And we met up with them, and we basically were like excited to go to the race. FP1 was about half an hour away at the start, so we thought, right, I tell you what we'll do. We'll go on the Singapore Flyer, the big Ferris wheel, the biggest one in the world actually. It's the same size as the London Eye. But because of something like that, it's the same size as London Eye, but because of some reason it is taller geometrically. So obviously that made it really fantastic. And obviously, unlike the London Eye, you don't look over the Thames, you look over Singapore. Obviously 362 days of the year, that is just a normal city, a lovely city, mind, and obviously only one of 3 cities, which is called a city-state country, obviously alongside the Vatican City and Monaco, obviously another Formula 1 race. And for this time, it was a Grand Prix circuit. So we headed into that the Flyer for FP1, and halfway up, we realised that FP1 was starting, which was really great. The only session to start and finish in the dark, in the light. So obviously, this was the only time we were going to see Singapore in the light. As you can see, that was unbelievable views. We were really unbelievable. We got some great views. Different, because obviously as you go, well, as you know, you go around it, and yeah, we just kept getting videos, and that's where I got most of my videos. Actually, not the race. I got most of my videos actually in the flyer, because it was just, yeah, it was just absolutely incredible, you know, to do this feat. Eventually got to a point where I was actually, you know, I could actually follow the car around, and obviously I got a really good video where you can actually follow them around basically most of Sector 3. You know, it was incredible. Yeah, that experience was probably the highlight of the holiday. Yeah, it was unbelievable, really, really fantastic. Loved every minute of that experience. Obviously, the night part for FP2. Obviously, we're back to our grandstand, our seats. Great views. The lights were just unbelievable, and just, yeah, everything was incredible. The sound was unbelievable. I think it was amplified a bit more because you were in the city, but still the noise was great, and I was kind of getting used to it. You know, obviously after being to Belgium and Italy, but yeah, just really great experience. We got to see some of the garage. We got to see all the garages. I was sitting in front of the Haas garage, the McLaren garage, and the Toro Rosso garage. So obviously they were the 3-1 I was watching. Obviously very excited to see for Sunday for the pit stops. Especially, I think it was McLaren. I got a really good view on that. You know, that yeah, basically made the holiday really, really great, because obviously that's one of the best things to see. I remember when we went to Silverstone, we kind of didn't really get much of a view of that. When we went to Monza, though, me and John got some great views of the pit stop. I think because he did most of the camera, because he has a really good camera quality. I think it's Williams, we have the best quality with that. We're almost like stood there and watching, I think it was Massa at the time, watching Massa get that pit stop. It was really, really incredible. So yeah, Friday was unbelievable. The Saturday for quali was unbelievable as well. Obviously, I was supporting Max and then Lewis as well. As I say, guys, you know, as I said before, I am still a Lewis supporter because he's British and the British flag as well, and loads of British fans there. You know, loads of people from Blighty who travelled over, even if they weren't from England. You know, they were still like supporting Lewis Hamilton as well. By the way, in terms of fans, guys, you know, Australians, they were, you know, there was loads of Australians everywhere. It was absolutely crazy. It's only 5 hours away from Perth, and to say that, because we're obviously the other side of the world of Australia, you know, that's the most furthest you can get away, and to say that is absolutely crazy. So they were saying, oh yeah, you know, I mean, we were 7 hours behind in front of the UK. Oh yeah, it's the same time in Perth, or it's, you know, it's 2 hours behind for Sydney, but you know, still that was more Cockney, but you know what I mean, it was just crazy to think that. Very close to Daniel Ricciardo's hometown, obviously the second home race, really. That's what they called it, the second home race, because obviously Melbourne is his first home race, but Singapore, as I say, very close, and the same time zone as Perth, so it just makes everything great. A lot of people travelled from there, obviously Northern Australia, Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney, you know, all the other places, some New Zealand fans as well, and yeah, the atmosphere for him was incredible. One of my favourite parts of the weekend, in terms of the Formula 1 racing, was the driver. When they all were coming past, I thought that was absolutely incredible. We got this from Lewis Hamilton.
Good attempt, nearly got there.
And it was just really, really, that was nice to see. That was nice. Really good quality as well. Obviously, the drivers really great. I love the ones who were waving. I think everyone was waving. I can't think of anyone who wasn't. And that was great to see, obviously, and then everything all was setting up for the where, you know, the Martin Brundle's grid walk. I didn't get to see him; he's quite a small guy, and obviously the Singapore flag, all the dignitaries. I saw Chase Carey, and then obviously I got a good zoom in of Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton, and yeah, that was all fantastic. But the main thing was we were there to watch the start and the 5 lights. And as I say, guys, you know, remember Belgium and Italy? I didn't get to see a start. You know, and it was a safety car start as well, so I didn't get to see anything other than the first car I saw was that Mercedes SLS AMG. I didn't get to see anything else. No Lewis, no Seb, no Sergio Sorokin. I didn't get to see anything else but the safety car leading the race. That wasn't very good. So I was looking forward to the start of the race. I mean, wow, it was really incredible. Obviously, you saw in that video as well, obviously Esteban Ocon, he crashed out with his teammates. So like Perez, always going to get us. But it made him more spicy. I'll tell you something though, if I was sitting in a big grandstand or somewhere like that, you know, after he crashed and I saw a safety car, I would not be happy. I would not be happy because as I said to you guys, I haven't seen a start. I hadn't seen a start in Belgium. I hadn't seen a start in Italy. So if I didn't see a start in Singapore, I was kicking off, man. I was going to go away on somebody. So that wouldn't have been very good. Probably Jordan. When I see him next, I'll probably go ape on him. If I saw him when I see him, even if it's like Christmas time, I'll still go ape. I'll be like, remember that safety car in Singapore? I'll go ape. But yeah, thankfully I got to see a start. Yeah, just an unbelievable event to see. Obviously, a lot of videos standard just going past as well. But the best videos, as I've just said to you guys, is the pit stops. I can't remember who drivers. Yeah, I think it was Fernando Alonso was the McLaren. I saw Haas and Toro Rosso's, which were really great. Obviously, on lap just after the start as well, Esteban Ocon, obviously, I saw him as well walking back again. I love when drivers get claps like that, obviously, to make sure that they're okay, showing their support. Obviously, the Force Indians have been through a lot. They got points in Belgium, a double point in Belgium. They got double points in Italy. I've forgotten if Perez got points in Singapore, but obviously one guy who didn't was him. So that was good to see him getting clapped on. Obviously, thankfully, he was okay as well, because obviously every time a driver crashes, even if it's small, it's still quite worrying, isn't it? But he was okay, thankfully. And yeah, just an unbelievable race. 2 hours as well. Obviously, Singapore is the longest race we have on the calendar. Are you confused about the timing when people say 10 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go? Because I was like, yes, I am. And the first time I actually heard about Singapore having time difference or something like that, measuring on time other than laps, especially when it gets to about 20 minutes to go, is when Rocky said to Seb back in 2013, I think it was, 10 minutes to go. And I was thinking, why don't you just say 2 laps or 5 laps, or why 10 minutes is nothing, man. 10 minutes is nothing. So I was a bit confused about that, but I knew this 2 hours was an unbelievable event. So long, so demanding. Even as a spectator, it was like really, really hard. It was 30 degrees outside. Humidity was unbelievable, but I was sweating more because I was excited about seeing the cars. It was very, very special. And obviously, as Lewis Hamilton crossed the line as well, the celebrations were unbelievable. The fireworks, just so special. And the support for him was insane. Gosh, that they don't get interviewed on the podium. I was a bit disappointed about that, because obviously that was good to watch. As me and Jordan saw in Singapore as well. I think it was that German guy on Sky Sports Deutschland who did the interviews in Italy for me and Jordan. See, this time it was David Coulthard, obviously with Channel 4, but he just does them as they get out of the car. See, that's good, because obviously he gets to see what the drivers think, after they're all hot and sweaty and they've lost 4 Ks of body mass, in terms of losing fluid. That's good, but obviously we didn't really get to see that. And obviously I didn't get to see that because they were on the floor, they were they were coding crowds. And obviously I was busy walking and pushing people out of the way to try and get to see the podium. But an unbelievable experience as well. And obviously then after that we got to go on the track. So there was loads of people around, obviously loads of people wanting to see the cars in the garages. I got to view some of the cars you can see now. That was really incredible. They were all in Parc Fermé as well. Really fantastic. Got to view into a garage. I think Daniel Ricciardo's photo is the best one that I have, the clearest one. And then just this view of all the track was really, really good. We were walking it the reverse way, so backwards. In the game you'd be black flagged for that, man. But still, it was really good to be on. I managed to pick up some tyre rubbers as well, obviously, and then going on the corners was just incredible. Obviously, I've got loads of photos as well, loads of videos, especially with the friends who I was with. Just an unbelievable experience. 30 degrees walking around that track at 10:30 was just so special, and it's probably one of the best memories I will have of this trip. It was really, really special. I loved every minute of it, and fantastic, absolutely fantastic. The best thing I have about Singapore was the friendly people were there. Everybody was friendly, like Silverstone and all these other races. People are friendly because they're like, well, you paid a lot of money to be there, and I'll be friendly. But there, it's like even though the whole city shuts down because of this one race, this 3 days, and have all these tourists coming in from around the world, which they must get sick of. They still love everyone, like they're special, they're VIPs, and that was amazing. That I loved Singapore. It was really, really special. Then obviously back home, we had a flight of 16 hours in total. We flew from Singapore in the middle of the night back to Sri Lanka. Then we flew from Sri Lanka to Dubai, then Dubai to Newcastle. So obviously that wasn't good, knackering, especially the middle of the night flight from Sri Lanka. We actually just stopped and parked and refueled. I slept all the way. I actually woke up on the runway, which was insane. I didn't have my seatbelt on, guys. But still, that was really... the flight wasn't good. But no, it was still no, it was good. No, I'm sorry. It was just the timing. It was because I was knackered and we had to connect. We did 2 connections. That's obviously that's another reason. But no, I loved every minute of it. Every part of that holiday was incredible, and yeah, I loved Singapore. It was absolutely fantastic. So now, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give my views out of 10, based on the race and the experience that I've had. Now, obviously, firstly, I'm gonna do Belgium versus Italy. Give you my views, pros and cons to the race and the atmosphere, and then obviously I'm going to come up with a verdict and tell you why I believe you should go to, if you had to go to one of those races, which one you should choose. Then I'm also just going to do another separate one for Singapore because I can't really compare them both. Obviously, I just went for the race day for Belgium and Italy. Which one do I think is better? Obviously, Singapore, I'll talk about that. I'll give my views on that a little bit later on. But Belgium versus Italy, okay? 2 of the oldest races in Europe. You've got Spa-Francorchamps and you've got Monza. They have both hosted events since 1950, since the start of Formula 1, and obviously they're 2 out of 4 of the oldest. Obviously, the other 2 being Silverstone and Monte Carlo. Now, my views, okay, I'm going to break it down into a few different things, okay? Atmosphere of the fans. Belgium, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. It was good. There was a lot of Dutch fans there. They were given a lot of support as well. The only thing that they didn't have was in Silverstone, obviously, when Lewis goes past every time, all the grandstand, even though they can't hear them because they're in a car doing, 10,000 RPM, they're not going to hear that. But every time the fans still stand up and celebrate and cheer for Lewis Hamilton. And, Max didn't get that. And I know it's not his actual home race because, he was born in Belgium, but he's not Belgian. And obviously it's not the Netherlands, but still I was expecting a little bit more spark from either Max fans, as I say, or Stoffel fans, or just anybody. It just seemed like the fans were liking Formula 1, which was great. Obviously no disrespect, no complaints there, but I just wish, if they had a bit more to them, it would have been a bit better of an atmosphere. They were still cheering for Max, and when he was on the podium, they cheered him on, but still, not the best. 7 out of 10 is good. Not as good as Silverstone, mind. Monza, the fans, 8.5 out of 10. They were better. Everyone was Italian. Everyone was supporting Ferrari. If you weren't supporting Ferrari, you weren't booed off. But I mean, I kept stum about supporting Red Bull and being British, mind, because it was like I don't want to cause a problem here. But everyone was Italian. Everyone was supporting Ferrari, and they loved their motorsport. Again, a lot of times when Seb was going around, they were cheering. And they just loved their Formula 1 so much. They know loads about it. The cheering, just really incredible. So 8.5 versus 7. I'm going to give this point to Italy, the Italian Grand Prix. Now, second thing, I'm going to say the race quality. Now, obviously, I'm going to not the race because obviously both races had safety cars. Both races were key in the championship, but you can't really help what race you go to. Every race is fantastic when you go to it live, but if you can't help what race happened. You might have gone to a Spa 98 when everyone crashed out, or something like that, or Indianapolis 2005 when half them raced. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to talk about, kind of hypothetically, what it is like to see a Formula 1 car go around this track. How much does it kind of, appeal to as a Formula 1 fan? How good does it look like with the backdrop of the car? How good is the track from what you're seeing? It's quite hypothetical, really, because I'm not judging the races I saw, but if I was going to do that way, I would say Belgium. I'm going to give a 9. Belgium, the Spa-Francorchamps is a great circuit. Le Mans is laid out so well. Obviously, you've got those red and yellow, the sidewalls. Obviously, that they run onto the curb. Obviously, going into like the Belgian, the Spa-Francorchamps kind of colours. And then I'm going to give Monza a 9. Same point as Belgium. Obviously, as I say, 2 of the 4 oldest circuits in Europe. You can't fault them in any way. So obviously, at this point, I'm going to give them both a point and say that they are just both unbelievable tracks. And now the last thing I'm going to give is the atmosphere. Now, you might think that's the same as the fan, but that's kind of just everything around. What did I think was the overall better race out of those 2? And I'm just going to say now, I think that the best race I went to, for me, in my opinion, I really liked Spa because I hadn't been to Spa before. I've been to Silverstone now, and I've been to Monza twice, and now I've only got one race left to do, which is also in Europe, which obviously is Monaco. So then it got a thing, and that was a great race. But which one do I think is a better atmosphere? And hands down, guys, I have to say, I have to give this point, and I have to give the overall win and my recommendation to Monza. You know, it's just an unbelievable circuit. The fans are fantastic. And yeah, just I would really recommend you go there. I've had a lot of people actually say to me, you know, how do you get to Monza? How much is it? And I want to go next year more than Spa. And I'm like, even though it's further than Spa, about 3 times the distance, especially from like somewhere like London, you know, I'd definitely go there because Monza is just so special. And obviously John's been there as well. That's also great because when we make a video in the next few days, we can then also talk about that, and he can agree with me, hopefully. But obviously he's never been to Spa, so he wouldn't know, but he can agree because he's been to Monza, and I know for a fact that he loved it because he told us last year. And obviously going again, obviously reliving those memories, seeing things that me and Jordan saw that last year was obviously very, very special. And now Singapore obviously was really great. Obviously I know it's a long way to go, it was a lot of money, but it was an unbelievable race, a good flyaway race, and I absolutely loved it. I would recommend Singapore to anyone who can go. It's an unbelievable event to see, it's an unbelievable experience, but now obviously I can't really compare it to Italy in terms of the structure, the overall experience, you know, the different fans, the diversity, all the buildings, all the basically the kind of the circus of Formula One. Because obviously when they go to Singapore to fly away, it is a big deal. It's a city-state, it's 30 degrees, it's absolutely lovely. But I'm going to say something quite strange here, guys, and I'm going to say that the race quality or the race fans, so much better in Silverstone, so much better in Monza, in Belgium. You know, Europe has this love for Formula One that, you know, really I saw that, and I saw that, you know, there was no kind of, I couldn't compare it to anywhere. You know, I couldn't compare it to Singapore, but it was an unbelievable experience anyway, and I would definitely recommend. I would give it 11 out of 10, and just, yeah, really fantastic. It was a great holiday. The race was a little bit dull. Well, John said that anyway, but again, as I just said to you guys, you know, if you're at a race, any race, you know, it is definitely special. No one could race. You could see one car go around, you know, but it would still be great because you're there. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you've had some good insight into basically my summer of Formula One. I hope I've also inspired you to hopefully go to one of these races, Spa or Italy or Singapore. My recommendation is Italy. I loved Italy. It was an unbelievable track. I would love to go again and again and again and again and again. Where me and Jordan are most likely going to look at going in the next few years, possibly next year. Obviously, I'm back at uni, so I don't have the money to do that anymore. I know he's looking at going to other races as well, Monaco and Silverstone again, obviously. You know, try and go to a race if you can. That one is my recommendation for anyone who lives in Europe. Obviously, if you don't, if you live in the Americas or you live in Australia, try and go to your home race. It might be a bit costly, but it is definitely worth it. Formula One is just an unbelievable event to watch, and it's more remembered. If you say to a guy you went to a football match, it's like, yeah, it's exciting for you, I guess. But if you say you went to a Formula One race, it's just such a special thing. You know, it really is unbelievable, and I love Formula One, and I hope I can keep going to these races and stuff like that in the future. Anyway, guys, so thank you very much for watching this episode. Obviously, make sure to like and subscribe. Me and John will be back on the screens in the next few days. Obviously, when we came back, well, obviously I was moving back into uni, I was on holiday, we were just kind of getting everything set up, but we are going to be back now. We're going to be doing a video every week, touch wood, obviously up till Christmas, and obviously 2019 will be our year to come back. And obviously, thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and until the next time you'll see me and John on your screens, I'll see you later.